So we've had our briefing for the press. This will be embargoed at 6 a.m. on Thursday morning. But, we did our interview yesterday. I said I'd heard it was explosive. You sort of went, no, nothing. You couldn't get more explosive than low morale, management, major problems with the management, and the rest, we'll come to all that. Let's just start with the top then. Let's deal with morale and management.
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say, Paul, I don't think it is explosive. I think you've read a different report to what I have. I think it's exceptionally exciting. I think
you're spinning it now?
No, I think the recommendations that have come out give us a huge opportunity on the island to develop something unique and different that can be an exemplar, as Sir Jonathan himself has said, to other jurisdictions around the world. You mentioned management. The report talks about leadership, and leadership is very different to management. What the differences in the report are to leadership. Now, leadership includes everyone. Leadership includes everyone from the ground up, including myself as minister. So it's about people taking responsibility for what they do in the structure and ensuring that they drive change forward. That doesn't just rest with management, that's the leadership across the department, from myself right down to the ground.
Morale is low. Who said it?
I've turned around myself and said that. I pointed that out when I took over as minister. But if the manager's
did their job right, it wouldn't be surely a case.
One of the things I pointed out when I took over as minister is that we needed to improve morale in the department. I think in some areas the department morale has improved, but it's a long process. And I think one of the things that has let morale down in the past is people have seen reviews come and go and not much change. And Sir Jonathan identifies that in his report. But there's fundamental differences this time. One of the things that I'm really enthused about has been the support of Treasury to allow us to bring in a proper transformation team to implement the report, so it's properly funded and we're not relying on people who are already trying to do their day-to-day jobs to implement this. We will have a proper team in place who will be able to drive forward that change.
Then,
no, it's not. It's operational management. It's operational people on the ground who will be delivering that change.
I'll come to that second, but let's just make it clear. It is 4 CEOs in 10 years, I think. It's a department that is clearly troubled. Yes, troubled?
I wouldn't say troubled. I'd say the department has had struggles, and it's had struggles with change. That's identified in the Sir Jonathan Michael review, that's identified in the PAC reports, that's been identified by myself as minister as well. What matters is how we drive things forward, and the way we drive things forward is getting proper change. One of the great things about this review that I'm really, really excited about is Sir Jonathan hasn't just given a list of 26 recommendations. At the back of that, if you've had time to go through the appendices, you will see there's implementation plans as well, or low-level implementation plans. We're going to have transformation team in place. There's going to be a proper transformation board running this. So there will be proper monitoring the whole way through, and regular reports to Tynwald as well, which is also, of course, once it's reported to Tynwald, out in the public domain. So the public will be able to see pretty much in real time how DHSC is implementing this and how government is getting on with the job in hand.
The transformation team will take how long to transformation this whole thing?
Well, I think one of the other failings there's been in the past with other reports is this expectation that things are going to happen overnight. Mm-hmm. We're talking about health and social care. Nothing is going to happen overnight. There are some things that will take 4 to 5 years to implement. So Jonathan himself has identified that in the report and said there shouldn't be an expectation that you wake up on the Monday morning and say job done, everything.
Could this report just go like everything else? I mean, how many reports have been made over the years? And they've just been binned, haven't they? In most cases, most of the things have not been dealt with. You accept that?
Well, actually, yes, because I think there hasn't been the political will, with due respect, in some cases, to implement those reports.
3 or 4 years, though. You could be moving on. You could be chief minister or anything by that stage. I mean, it's a long time for you. It's not going to be under your tenure then, possibly.
But the difference is this report is going to Tynwald for approval.
Yeah.
So Tynwald, it will be a mandate from Tynwald for DHSC to implement this report. That will only change if Tynwald itself decides to change it. Government will be mandated to do this. So it'll be a Tynwald resolution. It's not just government on its own and deciding to
interestingly, he recommended that every recommendation is en bloc, not piecemeal. Would you accept that?
Yeah, and that's what me and the rest of Council of Ministers are recommending as well in our response. We're saying it's a very, very good report. It is the direction of travel we want to go in. It's the direction of travel that will make the health service sustainable in the long term, and we believe that the recommendations aren't a pick and mix. And I think, again, and I think we mentioned this in yesterday's, where I think things have gone wrong in previous reports, is to a certain extent politicians have picked and mixed. They've said we like 1 to 5, we don't like 6. but not realise that if you don't do 6, you can't get your 1 to 5. So it is absolutely essential, and the resolution that's going before Tynwald is that the Sir Jonathan Micro Review is accepted in full, and basically DHSC gets on with it. The transformation team that we'll be putting in place to drive the change on the ground gets on with it. But I'm really excited about this. We get one shot at this. It's a unique opportunity to develop something different, and we need to seize it with both hands and get on with the job.
Your comments on Kate Beecroft and what she described as the last management head of the CEO, your comments?
Mrs Beecroft was my predecessor as Minister. She's entitled to her views. I said in my interview with you yesterday, I had a very good working relationship with Dr Couch and Ms Morris during my 15 months as Minister. I obviously found working with them very different to Mrs Beecroft, but she's entitled to her views just as much as I'm entitled to mine.
What was the feeling here, the mood music, when you did the presentation to Tynwald?
It was very enthusiastic. Members, I think, are fully on board with this. I don't want to preempt how it will go in Tynwald. That would be very ridiculous.
But you gather feedback, for instance.
But the feeling I get is that members realise that change needs to come, and I get the feeling that members feel this is the long-term sustainable change that we'll deliver.
Again, I have to ask you, should people have confidence in you? Should people have confidence in the health system on the Isle of Man? Because clearly there's massive problems here, massive problems.
Well,
and you're going to say, I've read the wrong report.
No, what I'm going to come back to, I say I wouldn't. You keep going on about problems. I think the challenges.
I think people out there really want to know if their life is safe in the hands of these people.
That's getting ridiculous.
Well,
that's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
In terms of the health service, as I said yesterday, we've got hundreds, if not thousands, of very good, hard-working employees in the health service.
If morale's low, that's not good, is it?
But they are delivering excellent care day to day, and I don't think we should be tarring everyone the same bus. This has all come about because 2 senior managers have left. With all due respect,
yes, it has.
If a chief executive of Barclays goes, you don't change your account to another bank, do you, Paul? If you did, you're going to spend the rest of your life switching banks quite regularly.
But you have a chance to switch it. You don't have it here, do you?
We have a chance and an opportunity with the Sir Jonathan Micro Report to introduce real change within our health service, and that is what we will be seizing and what we will be doing.
And if it gets through Tynwald, when do people likely to see some changes, to have more confidence?
Well, to be honest, some of the changes Sir Jonathan's actually spoken about are already underway. GTS is working on the Manx Care record, which he spoke about unifying all patient records into one system. There's already work going on around the formulary as well. So one of the key things that I think you've skipped over that Sir Jonathan identified, and he's just given at the opening of his press briefing,
I'm going to talk to him as well,
was he said about the 5-year strategy that the department has in place, and that he believes it is the right strategy. We are already on the right direction of travel, but what we need to do is sharpen ourselves, sharpen our processes, and make sure we actually deliver on it.
No names mentioned in this thing, though? Was there no need to mention names?
As I said to you yesterday, leadership isn't about single individuals, and it's leadership that's referred to, not management. Leadership is all of us, from myself as Minister, the whole way down.